Hello, everybody. Mr. Krebs back here talking to you about March Number Corner, Day 8. What you need is your notebook and your pencil. We're going to talk about some patterns today. We are going to go through the first few days on our March calendar. We're going to look at the cards, and we're going to be multiplying some big numbers. We're going to be doing some estimating, and I'd love you to follow along with me in your math notebook. Now, the first card has some grids on them, and we're going to be looking at some really, really big numbers. Now, when we find area, we know that the formula that we're going to be working on is base times height, right? That equals our area. And we're going to start off with this first shape as 264 times 76. So each one of those grids that you see out of those 16 is worth 100 each. So you can see the 200, then 6, and 4 more is represented. So in total, if that whole thing were shaded right there, there would be, what, 1,600 squares? So I kind of look at that and I say, well, I know this is going to be, less than that full number. So I look at my estimate, I see 264, and I'm just going to say let's round these to the hundreds just to get, kind of close here. 376 is 100. You can also say, well, that's 25 away from 300. This is about 25 away from 100. So I could actually lower that estimate, maybe make it 200 times 100. Let's actually do that. I'm going to erase this here. Let's say 200 times 100, just to kind of get me ballparkish. 1 times 2 is 2 with 4 zeros. I'm going to say my estimate is right around 20,000 for this answer. Now, we could use a number of methods here, but I'm going to go the traditional algorithm. 6 times 4 is 24, so I would carry my 2. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 2 more is 8. Carry my 300. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 3 more is 1,584 for 6 groups of 264. I put my 0 down. 7 times 4 is 28. So again, I'm going to need 2 to carry. 7 times 6 is 42, plus 2 more is 44. Carry my 4 there. 7 times 2 is 14, and 4 more is 18. Changed colors on me, didn't it? So I've got 4, 16, 10, 20,064. So that's a pretty good estimate that I just did, representing 20,064 square units on that one. Now, let's remember that number 2064, because as I'm looking at 264 times 76, go to days 2 and 3. What I noticed is that I'm dealing with these same numbers, 264 and 76, but there's just different decimal points. Okay? For example, the second day, it's 264 times 76. And again, my answer was 20,064, right? Now, if I've one number behind the decimal point, when I multiply these out, all I have to do is put one number behind the decimal point. For to make this abundantly clear, when I'm doing my estimating, I could say, well, I'd round that to, I don't know, 100 times 20, so my estimate would be 2,000. So getting that answer of 2006.4 makes total sense. And when I'm looking at the next day 3, I've got 264 times 7.6. So I've moved that decimal point in the top, but I've added a decimal point in the bottom. I'm going to get the exact same answer, 2006.4. Now I go way smaller in the next one, 2.64 times 7.6. So the numbers 7.6 are the same, but I've got 2 numbers behind the decimal here. So when I'm dealing with 20 0.064, I now have 1, 2, 3 numbers behind the decimal. My answer is going to be 20.64. And again, 2 times 10 for an estimate there on that day 4. That makes total sense. Day 5, 2.64 times 0.76. I now have 4 numbers behind the decimal point. And for this one, I'm going to end up with 2.0064, or 2 and 64 10,000ths. Let's go take a look here at my calendar grid. I've written these all in. So my vertical dimensions, they all have 76 as the first 2 numbers, but we have 7.6, 7.6, or 0.76 on the 5th. My horizontal dimensions are all 264 with the decimal points in different places, and then my area moving as I add decimal points or move the decimal points. Back and we take a peek. 28,684. When we go back here, we have 101 times 28.4. We get 2,868.4. For 3/8, we just move that decimal point. Later on in the month, we're going to get some new numbers where we're at 284 times 101. And for this one, I just need to estimate, well, 284 times 100 would be 284 with 2 zeros. So if I'm close to 28,400, I'm going to be doing pretty well. In fact, I take that 28,400 and all I have to do is add 284 because it's 101 groups, not 100 groups. 4, 8, 6, 28, 684. So you can see, and as we start looking at future dates here, we've got the 284 and the 101 just moving the decimal points around. Okay, so they're the same answers, 28.4 times 101 and 10.1 times 284. So what's really neat about the calendar math this month is every 5 days we're going to get a new set of numbers, but we only have to multiply 1 time to get the right product. All right, go and answer the questions in these Google form. We'll talk to you soon.